What's up, guys? BARRYGAMING here, back with some more Eternal Evolution, and today we're going to be going over the newest PvE priority tier list for Eternal Evolution. So there's a couple heroes at the top of this list. They are the premium ones like Nord. You're gonna have to spend money for them, and if you are gonna spend money, you need to check out yesterday's video. We have now a partnership with Aptoide, and Aptoide is on a lot of different games out there, saves you a ton of money. So if you spend any amount of money on this game, you need to download Aptoide. Follow the links in the description. It'll tell you how to download it. You're gonna save a ton of money, literally like 25-30 bucks on packs, things like that. It is amazing. But let's jump into this. Let's go over who you should be building. There's a couple missing on this list. I'm gonna add them in myself, tell you where they are. We're gonna go through by each individual basically class and tell you guys who are the best and some of the worst in Eternal Evolution. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get going. So first up, we're going to talk about the SSS tier heroes in this game. Honestly, you could literally call this like SSS, SSSS. Like, there's no other hero in the game that matches the power of Nord. He is just the most overpowered hero. He's basically paywalled for anybody who hasn't started the game back when I started the game. You'll notice there's no tanks, vanguards, energy, assassin, hunter, summoner, sports. There's nobody else in this SSS tier because that is how good this hero is. If you have a chance to get a copy of him, grab that copy and run. He's going to give you the best progression in the game, hands down. Just undeniably the best. Invest in him. You won't go wrong. But when we do move down to the SS tier, this is where it gets a little interesting and a little bit more variety in heroes. Now, as far as tanks go, Pandemonium is one of the best. Doesn't necessarily have the best survivability himself, but he has the ability to knock down enemies. And knocking down enemies in a lot of PvE situations, whether it's campaign or very specific game modes, even in like Twilight, there are tons of reasons why you want to be able to knock down enemies, and Pandemonium is a must-have tank from your account. Now, much like Pandemonium being a must-have hero, Leo is probably one of the best tanks in the game, even though he is a vanguard. He does require a specific prototype to be used with him to really get the best bang for your buck with him, but he is going to be another hero. Before Nord came out, Leo was pretty much what most people considered hands down one of the best overall heroes in the game. Once Nord came out, like, Nord's like way higher up on this list than Leo, but you get my drift. Leo is one of the best tanks. He has immunity, which is absolutely amazing for game modes where they just do ridiculous amounts of damage. He at least gets his immunity, gets to heal back up. He is a very versatile hero to have. Next up in energy, we have Jaina. Jaina is one of the newest heroes, and she does a lot of damage while also boosting the damage other AoE damage dealers deal. So she is a perfect pairing with Nord in a lot of different game modes. She's very versatile. She has some good even crowd control type abilities. So if you do get a chance to grab Jaina, very, very good. But again, literally, this might look like it's not much of a difference between SS and SSS, between these two energy heroes. It is night and day. Nord is hands down way higher up. He has the survivability. He has the displacement. He has so many things that you want in a hero. After that, we have assassins, Dominic and Rickert. You want to use them together. However, I think this is a little I wish there was another tier, because I'd honestly put Dominic in a higher tier, but not in the same tier as Nord. Dominic can be one of the highest damage dealers in the entire game, even more than Nord, because of the way his active ability works. He basically can take other allies' crit damage and crits that they hit on the target, and he turns into his own damage. So many game modes where Nord is my top damage dealer. If I throw Dominic in as well, Dominic actually does more damage than Nord, because he's basically doubling up on Nord's damage and making his own damage as well, and you're just getting double the damage. So it's absolutely amazing. But using Rickert with him is very good. With Dominic, you kind of need either a vanguard or an assassin on the battlefield at the same time, because that's how he gets his damage reduction and survivability. You can run like a Marauder set on him, but you kind of want to be more optimized in most situations. But this combo together is deadly. Now, over in Hunter, we have Viserys. Viserys is a newish Hunter. She is very, very strong. She has the ability at EX30 to even revive herself the first time she dies. She has a fear effect, which I think is one of the best CCs in the entire game. It literally makes the enemies run to the back of the battlefield as far away as possible, and she does boost the attack speed of a lot of heroes on your team. Now, one hero they don't have on this list, the newest one, is Rebecca. Rebecca is also a very good hunter. I'm going to put her up here with Viserys. I'd probably actually put her as better than Viserys because of the way her abilities work. She does a ton of damage. She even has like some like mini CC type abilities, and she is a very, very strong hero if you already have other hunters on your account. So Rebecca, I would definitely put up here with Viserys. Moving over to summoners, you have the solo summoner Daniel, which is just probably the best well-rounded overall summoner. If you can only get one summoner for your account, definitely build Daniel. Anpu and Sorv are really good, but they are more of a pairing. Anpu needs the damage from Sorv's tons of summons. The more summons around, the more damage Anpu is going to be able to do. So you kind of want to build them together. Going for EX30 on Anpu is really good. Heck, going for EX30 on Daniel is really good because his ultimate does so much damage. That electrified bear is just amazing. And then the newest summoner, which, man, I keep forgetting her name, honestly. I need to pull this up real quick. So the newest summoner in the game is Doralee. She is essentially like the tank summoner. She summons a single minion, but it counts as 3 minions for a lot of different game modes, and she just is amazing. She's not even working properly right now, but I would put her up here with Daniel. If I could only pick 2 summoners, I'd probably pick Daniel and the new one. They're a really awesome combo, gives tons of damage, tons of survivability. Absolutely amazing. So chuck the new heroes. Pretty much all 3 of the newest heroes get put in the SS tier for energy, hunter, and summoner. Last but not least, we have support. Miranda is, in my opinion, hands down the best overall support hero. Masrani is really good. You can get him in the early game even as a free-to-play player. And then Rez, you'll generate a bunch of them. Rez comboed with Nord is probably one of the most disgusting damage combos in the game because Rez can give you 100% energy with his ultimate. So you can have Nord use an ultimate, feed him res energy, another ultimate. You get what I'm saying. While as Miranda and Masrani both have ways of giving more attack to your highest damage dealers while having good survivability. Miranda gives shields with some healing. Masrani gives AoE healing. They're kind of a little different. But overall, these are the heroes you want to be going for. The SSS and the SS tier are the most important. Well, when we go down a little bit further into the S tier, these are more fringe SSS heroes that can be used in different game modes. Now, here's another situation I think too. I always forget how to say his name. I'm going to go with Wom. Wom is, in my opinion, one of the best overall survivability tanks in the game, and he has some really good CC/grouping of enemies. I think he's hand over fist better than either of them, but because he's not needed in any game mode like Pandemonium, I can understand why he's an S tier. Zada has a lot of survivability, and Vegnus is actually a really solid tank if you can't get SSS heroes. He's probably the best tank, or one of the best non-SSS heroes in the game. Like, really, really is. Barrag is an interesting one. Barrag's the Vanguard hero. He does not use the typical energy system that most heroes use. He has a special rage system that you need for specific bosses in the game. So while you don't need him, he's almost necessary for specific bosses and specific encounters in different game modes, which is why he stays up in the S tier. Overall viability, you definitely don't need him on your account. He's more of a spender luxury hero to make sure you can rank high in a lot of different game modes. Ravenia and Luke, man, how the mighty have fallen. They used to be like some of the best AoE energy damage dealers in the game. They've definitely fallen off. Luke, you can get a copy of the first week. I mean, Luke and Ravenia, you can get like a copy of them early on an account. Neither of them are really a must build. Luke is really good in certain game modes where you need true damage, and there are some bosses where you need to deal true damage to do a ton of extra damage. Ravenia, we've had some fringe game modes like the Easter event and stuff like that where her big AoE pushback was like a really, really cool thing. Not that great. And Bailey Hudson, an assassin, pales in comparison to the other two. We need another new assassin because Bailey has fallen off hard when you compare his damage to the other two, even his survivability. He's okay. He's kind of like the gotcha in the early game for even spenders. They try to make you want to grab a bunch of Bailey. He's not that great nowadays. I would only build him if you're just passively getting copies. I would never invest genes in like these heroes right here, or maybe even these heroes. So Hunters is where it gets really interesting in the S tier. Taylor is probably one of the, again with Vegnus, one of the best damage dealers in the game that's not an SS hero. If you're not spending, you need Taylor to be one of your best damage dealers. Trust me, you're not going to make a mistake. Bot Mark 2 is another one that's very close as well. But Emma is one that you can get during the new player experience. And I think she's very good for a lot of game modes, because there's a lot of game modes where you have to break shields. And in order to break shields, you need to attack very quickly. And her ultimate ability does just that. Emma's actually become one of the best PvP heroes in the game because of Viserys and Rebecca. So keep that in mind. I'm going to have a video about that very soon. Well, the other SSS heroes, they're okay. I know there's some fanboys and fangirls for Moriami out there. They pale in comparison. I'd almost put Emma up a tier nowadays just because of Rebecca being in the game. As far as summoners go, Senway and Kalaza, they're really good non-SSS summoners if you don't have the big boys. Skewer and Hattie is decent. Again, if this is a hero, an SS hero, I wouldn't chase after. You don't need them. These are the summoners you need to go for. And then again, support. Serena is probably one of the best early game healers in the game. She's absolutely amazing. The other two are more or less not pure healing. Annie is more of a CC'er, and Boda is okay as well. Again, these are heroes you don't want to go for as SSS heroes. Just claim them as you get them. And then Serena is definitely one you want to build as quickly as possible. Once we drop down tiers, you'll notice there are some SSS heroes in the A tier. These are really heroes you don't want to build unless you are a free-to-play player, really. Liren can be an okay healer if you have like a summoner team or something like that. Muka is a decent melee summoner, but again, he kind of falls off. Old John has some fringe uses. I really don't like him. Crete can be okay, but again, don't really go for Crete in the early game. I will say Oak is my favorite out of everybody in the A tier because he has that damage immunity when he basically dies the first time. So really usable. Even in the late game, his immunity can buy you time to do what you need to do. And then basically everybody else down here in the B and C tier are kind of don't use. Granted, if you're a free-to-play player, Boar is a really good one to hang on to. Artist can be okay in the early game too. Falvea can be really decent as well, depending on how you build her. Boar, I think, is one that might belong in the A tier personally. Omar's down in the C tier. He can be decent AoE in the early game. Maybe bump him up to B, something like that. But you guys can see most of these heroes are just not really ones you want to go for unless you have a very specific build. There are a bunch of food heroes too. These are all considered food. You don't build these heroes to use them. You build them to feed to all the heroes that we just talked about. So let me know what you guys think about this list. Again, all the newest heroes. Rebecca, which is over here. We have, oh my god, all the names. So many names coming our way. Rebecca, definitely an SS tier. We definitely have the new summoner Dorali, definitely an SS tier with Daniel, I would say. And then of course the newest energy hero Jaina, very solid hero. So keep that in mind when you do this list. I will put a link to this entire infographic and the Eternal Evolution Discord in the link in the description. And of course, like I said before, you guys spend any amount of money on this game, you absolutely have to watch the Aptoid video. You're going to save so much money. And that's just amazing. So share it around with your whale friends, with anybody who spends money on this game. You're not going to be disappointed. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know if you change anything on this PvE hero tier list. I'll see you guys next time.